practices about one and all. Now, each person on this panel showed up for their higher part, and this is going to be very interesting, and we can do a round robin, and I don't know how we're going to do this because this is some heavy stuff I wrote, but if we'll see if anybody geared towards that. Richard, you want to run the round table with Susan and Marci? Did any of that? Let me see if Richard, because he's going to try to do Saturdays, and we'll hope Marci and Susan will come back participate on a regular basis. But he already spoke to Susan a little bit. But Richard, did any of that stuff make sense to you? Because a lot of groups, I looked and I've done a lot of research for 2 weeks, and I pulled it all together. But I'm going to mute, and then we'll see where this goes, okay? Is that okay with you, Richard?
Okay. I guess.
Well, you've got the boy voice.
There are three schools of thought, you know. One is basically spiritual in principle that says, okay, we're humans and we have mental faculties, emotional faculties, and physical faculties, and we basically are on a path where we master over ourselves in general and turn inward and become aligned with our spiritual nature. And therefore our spiritual nature comes to the forefront and precludes or basically sets the mind aside or backwards or in the background, one could say. And therefore from this, of course, comes in universal consciousness because, yes, we share one divine consciousness that is the creator of all that is. And yet at the same time, we're also individuals of that particular consciousness because that's the way we were created. So then in turn, of course, you have all this UFO and alien technology and all the rest of that, which I'm sure Susan is much more familiar with that than I am. Yes, I've had a few encounters. I was abducted, and tracking devices were placed in me, which have now been removed, fortunately. And again, those kind of experiences make us very much aware that we are not alone. So then as far as the me against them, that's a perspective and concept that is an ideal that's saying, okay, well, the only way that I could put a spin on that would be to say that people are awake, and those that are awake are more or less very consciously aware, whereas you have the multitude that are basically remaining asleep or basically sucked into material reality and are not in alignment with their spiritual or higher selves. And of course, you have many, many masters out there that are teaching all kinds of different lessons and all kinds of different courses. But I will go as far as to say this, that any answers that you seek and any wisdom that you wish to know, all you have to do is turn inward and ask, because we're all part of the one source, and therefore all answers and all information come readily into us all. So, with that said, I'll go ahead and turn the forum or the panel over to Susan so she can enlighten us into more of her reality, because I'm sure that she delves into more of the alien or I would say extraterrestrial beings or beings that obviously fluctuate not only here on Earth, but also fluctuate in different dimensions and so on and so forth. So, Susan, we are focusing on you now and your perspective of things.
Basically, every sentient, living, intelligent being has a soul. And because they have a soul, whether they're asleep or awake or awakened or unawakened, typically if they're infringed upon with torture or punishment or anything like that, they're going to have an automatic defensive self-protective response. Well, my observation has been that 80% of this human race does not have that. They act like they don't have a soul. Now, a lot of these scientists, mainstream science and everything, is coming up with all these ruses to explain it, like AI and virtual reality and holographic universe. That's nonsense perpetrated on the general population through the mainstream intelligentsia and stuff to keep the main population dummied down so that they no longer become an awakened force, because as soon as they do, the negative ET scourge, the evil global elite and everybody can no longer use them as a commodity. And the evil elite will soon have their heads chopped off by the negative ET scourge if they lose control of their own planetary race, the humans. The humans, from what information I've gathered, originally had 12 strands of DNA and had 22 dimensional levels of consciousness. And they were supposed to be the stewards of the Stargate portal system, Orion system, in this sector of the universe. And unfortunately, the negative ET scourge, which was infiltrated and possessed by the parasitic disembodied entities that came over from the collapsed universe on the backside of Draco, it was another universe that was collapsed because it was rife with negativity, and some of the entities bled over to this universe and are targeting the lower dimensional beings, lower evolved beings, specifically some of the reptilians and the humans. And this is the end result, because the humans have been reduced to an 8-strand DNA from 12 and everything. And a lot of them have a subpar biomatrix that does not support a soul matrix, which probably accounts for the 80% of the humans that don't really have a soul. They fool everybody because they act like they got a consciousness. They act like they make their own self-decisions and stuff. But then again, a computer can do the same thing, and so can an animated intelligence, and they call it mimicry intelligence, which is like monkey see, monkey do. And this is what's causing all this confusion, because they appear to be intelligent because they're self-governing, but they're not totally self-governing. They're being corralled like cattle and to pigeonhole modes of existence to supply the biological specimens and everything for the evil elite and off-world ventures like the Secret Space Fleet. And we're here to battle them and eliminate the evil scourge. And it's really it's a lot of trepidation. We got to set up the scene before we do the pulse and everything. It's an ongoing thing.
Wow, that's a lot.
No, I understand what she's talking about. I've been doing this stuff for many lifetimes. I've been a shaman in many lifetimes. People told me I'm from Sirius. That's where the tones are coming from for healing, and everything to do with frequency. So as we have a lower frequency with our photons, from when I was watching Ancient Aliens, is 8 to 10, we can go up to 1,000. And I worked on Richard, and I did a little bit on TJ, and I've been on other people I'm guided to work on. With the tones, I transmute the lower frequency energy, as I've been working on myself for the last 40 years, and I've been working on other people for the last 40 years. I just turned 60. I started this journey, being clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, channeling, guided, like 40 years ago, piecing together all this stuff. They do want me to do tones. They do come through me to do tones. And what happened last night to me is, and I was telling this to Richard, as I've been clearing out more and more energies and vibrations within myself, the higher beings, but the lower dense energy, they can't contact us. They don't deal with drama. And so it's like a radio dial. So if you're at a certain frequency, they can't contact you. As you clear out more and more of your frequency, they can connect with you, and you get higher and higher guides. So I'm going to hit some tones that TJ and Richard know. Susan, I just met. But they do work. They have cleared out and transmuted many, many lower, it's like non-aerobic energy, which is fear, shame, guilt, anger, confusion. As we clear out more and more, we get higher and higher. A friend of mine, Don, who I've worked on this, we started this journey when we were 15, not even knowing any of this stuff. And he had a heart problem, or he had cancer, and I did some tones on him in the last 6 months. And he said the doctor said there was a white light, which it's the photons and the energies that are going on. So I'm going to hit some high notes, and I'm going to hit some low notes. As Richard and I have been on this journey talking and Skyping with each other for now 30 years, Richard, I lost track. He said the higher ones are for, you could explain a little bit better, the lower ones are for grounding. and we'll go into the lower ones are like Aztecs, the higher ones are higher frequency or higher guides. Tones have been around for like thousands of years. That's how they communicated with us.
That's exactly those high.
What?
That's exactly those high-pitched frequency tones I get in my ears all the time from the ships.
Yeah, and I'll do the ones on the jujujuri. Richard would say I sound like the frequency of the tones, the energies. I'm only supposed to work on certain people. I was going to do another radio show with somebody else, but for whatever reason, it fell through. There was somebody that did sound acoustics. I did it on her. She fell asleep. She never contacted me. It's really funny. These people say that there's certain things, and then I never hear from them again. And so a lot of people are not ready for this. But a lot of people like Richard and the group of friends that I have, we have been on this journey working on this stuff. I got to do the low ones. But, yeah, it is the sound of the spaceships. It is the frequencies that are going on. They do channel through me. They choose who they're going to work on. I work with Elohim. I work with Saint Germain. I work with a plethora of masters. And somebody channeled a long time ago when I worked on Uranum, and that's how I got connected with Elohim. And they like what I do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Can you give me a low? I went off. It's TJ. I went off base. I had to go off planet. Not that I wanted to, but I got taken by some men in black off planet, and I had to do a fight. But my back is still sore. They sent me back to recover. But can you do a low one? They put
that's
stars.
what I'm going to do right now, TJ, because TJ knows my work, and so does Richard.
Yeah, Susan will love you. I'm sure.
What, TJ?
I said Susan's going to love you because y'all probably have a lot of the same get to know people.
All I know is my guy said go on today. You know, I was over at the casino having lunch, and it's like, okay, I'll head back home. They're like, go on. What?
Okay. Well, let me mute. You go ahead. I'm going to sit here.
Okay. We were like, after like Richard and I have the cluster of friends that we're all interconnected with, and they came in and they worked on me, and I was Skyping with my friend Sean, who does automatic drawings, and we've been on this journey, and she kept on laughing, and it said, it sounds like you're underwater, and everything with the frequency was a delay. There's times that Richard and I will do it, it'll shut off the frequency, because what I was told with Elohim, I said, what is it? And this was like 8 years ago. I said, what is it with the tone? And they said, your frequency is so high, technology can't handle it. So that's what you were saying, the whole spaceship thing, Susan.
Oh, yeah. And what happens to me is I have a bad effect on electronics. I mean,
right.
I'm sitting in the chair now. I have to hold the phone away from the chair because there's a portal over the chair that opens up in the Yissaron ship directly over this chair in my room. And certain things, I'll make lights dim. I'll make the TV act screwy. The phone will block in and out. And it's an iPhone, and I got T-Mobile. And I mean,
it doesn't make a difference. It's just, and so my frequency has gone higher and higher. Like I said, it was just like Shauna's. And when I first started working on Raynham, the microphone would make sounds when I wasn't even making a sound, so I had to switch to a headset. I now have a headset, and then that's where it was making beeping sounds